Hello, welcome back to my channel, Inflightmuzik. My name is Ian, and today I want to go over the top 5 companies, or what I consider as the top 5 companies that give out free plugins. And if you're looking for more FL Studio and music production tips and tricks, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you are notified every time I make a new video. Now, this first company is called Air Windows, and I wanted to start off with this company because what this guy does for the community is absolutely amazing. He creates his own plugins inside of his own studio and releases many of them for free. He has 246 free plugins. So this guy's no joke. So if we click over to this free section, you could scroll down and you'll see that there's a timeline. So he's still continually making free plugins. This plugin was actually just made yesterday or just released yesterday, but this dates back years and years. So definitely give this guy your support if you're looking for some free plugins. He does accept donations. I recommend that you guys do so that he can continue to do what he's doing. But each of these, he does a video demo of all of his plugins, and a lot of them sound really great. The ones that I went for, the ones that give you more of that analog type feel. So when I went to his website, I was specifically looking for plugins that I don't really have in FL Studio. So I've downloaded Channel 4. On top of that, he's always updating old plugins too. So right here, he has this Channel 7 plugin. Sometimes it's not just an update on the plugin. Sometimes it's just an entirely different sound with the same concept, which I'm guessing that's probably what Channel 5, 6, and 7 are. But some of these just have some really interesting names like Peaks Only, a Soft Gate, Vibrato, Dyno, Mojo, Bass Drive. Some of them are blatantly obvious what they do, like a bass drive. De-Hiss, something that I need in my life. Voice Trick, Bass Writer, I actually have that plugin. Tape Fat, I've downloaded that. Sounds amazing. 2 Vinyl, Buttercomp. But yeah, he has so many different types of plugins. You could be here for days just looking through plugins. Iron Oxide, that's one of my favorites from him. Tape Dust, another great one. And like I said, he does demos for all of them in each one of these in video format. So you'll know exactly what the plugin does. The plugins aren't beautiful by any means. They're just knobs and sliders, but that's all you really need. It's not about the look, it's about the sound. And these plugins sound amazing, especially when you're trying to fill in the gaps with what you don't have already. I would recommend, before trying to get third-party plugins, definitely check out Air Windows and fill your database with the type of plugins that you feel that you're missing, and then you could go from there and try to make improvements on your collection after that. This next company is TDR, Tokyo Dawn Records, and they also make incredibly high quality free plugins, and their free plugins are based off of their paid plugins, so they're not cutting any corners here when they're giving you these plugins. And I recommend downloading them all because, like I said, they're super high quality. First one that I want to point out is TDR Nova, and this is a dynamic EQ. I don't know any other company that's giving out a free dynamic EQ. Dynamic EQs are really popular nowadays. And the way that I use them, I'm usually only using a couple bands, 2 or 3 bands here or there. This offers 4 different EQ bands that you could use at once. So for me, this is plenty for a dynamic EQ, where you're just trying to tame a certain sound within specific frequencies. This works really well. This next one, TDR Kotelnikov, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. It is a really nice sounding compressor. Slick EQ. Same deal with this. This is just a beautiful sounding EQ. I've seen a video where people have compared the FabFilter EQ to the stock EQ in FL Studio, and sure enough, they pretty much sound exactly the same. Like, I could not tell a difference between boosting the same frequencies in both plugins. They sound identical to me. But when it comes to this Slick EQ, it does add a lot more character and musicality to the sound, if that makes any sense. But as with any plugin, you guys know my #1 rule: just use your ears. If it sounds good, it's good. And boy, does this thing sound good. Moving on, we have Native Instruments, and they have a huge database of free plugins as well. So this is Complete Start, and basically this has not only effects, but also free instruments as well. A total of 18 instruments and effects are included, totaling 6 gigabytes. And here's a list of everything. You get these 7 synths right here. Laserbase is one of my favorites out of these. 9 sampled instruments. These work in the Contact player. The Play series right here is phenomenal, but it's actually 3 different instruments: Analog Dreams, Ethereal Earth, and Hybrid Keys. All of them sound fantastic. Here's 2 pretty badass effects. You have Supercharger, which is one of my favorite compressors. If you don't understand compression, this is one of the easiest plugins to dial in compression. I'll definitely do a video on this in the near future, but it works really, really well in parallel and really, really well on bass lines. Guitar Rig 5 player. If you've seen my recent guitar video where I went over different tips and tricks to get better guitar sounds for guitar type beats, I actually do have what I consider a better solution than Guitar Rig, but I'll get back to that a little later. And this also includes Complete Control, which allows you to just access all the sounds and effects in one plugin. So this just makes things really easy for you to get to where you need to be. And you get Contact 6 player, which actually plays these instruments right here, the sampled instruments, and then Reactor 6 player, which is used for these synths right here. And now we have Spitfire Audio. When it comes to instruments, they might be my favorite company that's giving out free plugins right now. The way this company works, what you do is you download what they call labs, and inside of labs, you download presets that they create. So recently they just released Moon Guitar. I'll just go ahead and let you listen to what this sounds like. London Atmos. I don't even think I have this one yet. Soft piano. Just absolutely beautiful. Strings. One of my favorites is the very first thing that I downloaded from Spitfire Audio, which was Frozen Strings. Just highly cinematic, and that's what I love about this company. They just have a very different sound than what's already out there, especially in terms of free. These are just really well sampled instruments, and they just add a certain texture to your music that would be almost impossible to get using an ordinary VST plugin. And number 5 on my list is Melda Production. These are basically what I consider as an upgrade to some of the stock plugins that you might have in any DAW. They offer this free bundle, and it comes with all of these plugins right here. And I definitely recommend just downloading the bundle just to make things easy on yourself and to just go through some of these plugins. They have wave shapers, a wave folder, vibrato, a utility plugin, saturators, ring modulation, phasers, frequency shifters, convolution reverbs, which I have a tutorial about that coming up, compressors, flangers, comb filters, auto pitch, which is an auto-tune plugin. It's free. This company is incredible. So I know the title said that I'm doing the top 5 companies with free plugins, but here's 4 more companies that I feel like I should mention as an honorable mention. First one being Cakewalk by BandLab. Now this is a company that I mentioned in a previous tutorial, actually my very last tutorial about guitars. And what Cakewalk by BandLab is, it's a 100% free DAW. And what's crazy about this DAW is this is actually the DAW that I started out on. And I kid you not, this is definitely a DAW that can compete with any other. So if you're someone that's looking to get into music production and you don't have a means of getting your hands on a DAW, definitely check this one out. Not to mention the effects that comes with it. So I've downloaded it just for the effects, and I've added those effects into FL Studio. One of them being TH3, which is an incredible guitar plugin. I'll leave a link down below to that video so that you guys could check that out. But you'll instantly hear how much better your guitars can sound just using TH3, the Cakewalk version. This next company I feel a lot of you are already familiar with, but I would feel bad not mentioning them because I use their plugins in every single project that I do. It's Vox Ango. The main plugin that I use from them is Span, this spectrum analyzer. I've mentioned it in probably a dozen different videos, but I love their simple spectrum analyzer. It's just really plain, really simple, doesn't take up a lot of CPU. But they have these other plugins as well that are worth mentioning. This stereo widener plugin, this guitar amp simulator, this old school reverb sounds pretty cool. This tube amplifier plugin can warm things up pretty quickly. And this mid-side stereo plugin. I actually prefer this plugin for mid-side processing inside of Patcher instead of using FL Studio's stereo plugin. It's just a lot simpler and a lot quicker to manipulate to get your mid and side signals separate. Now these last two are really old school plugins. In fact, they don't even make 64-bit versions of them. So keep that in mind. These are only 32-bit, but they're so good, I felt like I definitely needed to mention them. This first company is called Andrus. They offer this modern plugins collection that you could download in a nice little bundle. And I don't want to necessarily call these emulation plugins, but I do feel that they were kind of made to act as such. But they have all kinds of compressors, limiters, equalizers, just different kinds of processors that sound pretty unique. And last but not least, variety of sound. And one plugin in particular that I want to point out is Ferric TDS. And this plugin has actually won some awards. Definitely check out their other plugins. Ferric TDS is a tape dynamics simulator. And it's basically just a saturation plugin, but it's my favorite saturation plugin. Very often I'll throw this on my instrument bus, the whole entire thing, and just add small increments of this plugin, and it just brings things to life. This density bus compressor is another one that I like using quite often. But again, like I said, these are 32-bit plugins, so if that's something that you shy away from, I totally understand. But in terms of quality, these are nothing to scoff at all. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that notification bell so that you stay updated whenever I drop a new video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.